We will have Amartya Sen Lecture, which presents Nobel Laureate in Economic Science 2007, Professor Maskin. Supported by the UNDP Human Development Report Office, this lecture celebrates Amartya Sen's important contributions to the field of human development and capability. On this year's lecture, it will focus on why have global markets failed to reduce inequality in poor countries. Now, to start this session, I would like to invite Dr. Jose Pineda as HDRO Policy Specialist to give an introductory remark and open the session. To Dr. Jose Pineda, the floor is yours.
Thanks. It's a true honor for me, on behalf of UNDP's Human Development Report Office, to introduce the remarks to the lecture, the Amartya Sen Lecture, made by Professor Maskin, Nobel Laureate in Economics. I think Professor Maskin doesn't need an introduction, at least for myself. So I will leave my brief presentation to highlight some of the main links between inequality and human development. Equity is an essential component of the human development paradigm, an approach that has been promoted by UNDP and the Human Development Report Office since the first report in 1990. Human development proposed a universalist approach to development, which puts people at the center of development policies and create a concept of development where development is about people and about improving their lives. We consider that development without equity will necessarily imply that will be imposing restrictions on the choices available to individuals in a society. And we think that excluding equity principles in the design of policy and development policies will be a gross violation of these universalism principles. So we therefore consider that equity is a value on itself. We also consider that it's important to underline that inequality is multidimensional. And of course, we find mainly in income inequality its main expression, but inequality also is encapsulated in broader ramifications such as access to health and education, unequal stake in the decisions that affect people's lives, and discrimination based on gender or race, something that we were discussing in the thematic area on inequalities, horizontal inequalities. But we also recognize that beyond the intrinsic value of inequality or equality, it also has some instrumental value for development. For example, unequal access to affordable health care has emerged as a major cause of impoverishment in many countries. Besides, unequal societies also tend to adopt less sustainable development models, which might bear unpredictable and long-term costs to the environment. We also know that rising income inequality can erode social cohesion and bring about social instability, which will undermine long-term human development progress. We also know that more equal societies tend to perform better at different stages of human development. For instance, we can find that it performs better in teen pregnancies, to homicide rates, to many other aspects of human development that we can have data. And we found that this is true both in developing and developed countries. We also find that more unequal societies will usually have lower social mobility. And we know that when social mobility is limited, we will find that even enhancing education will find not necessarily to be translated into better lives. Professor Maskin's pioneer work has enlightened economic and development thinking in many ways. Mechanism design theory provides innovative answers to many issues, such as, for instance, how to define voting systems that will optimize political participation, how to organize more effective international regimes. Mechanism design theory also helps to explain why often we don't find good provision of global public goods, such as reduction of pollution. Today we will see how the theory of matching will also help us to explain and to understand why globalization might lead to depressing the incomes of the low-skilled labor force in developing countries, although globalization could increase the overall well-being, leading to the increase in inequality. And this will be the topic of today. I think that in that context, also Professor Maskin will advocate and will emphasize the role of education for the low-skilled workers, a policy recommendation which has been consistently put forward by the human development approach. Without any further delay, please receive Professor Maskin for his lecture. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, and first of all, many thanks for the invitation to speak at this conference and to come to Jakarta for the first time. This is my first visit to Indonesia, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly. And it's also an opportunity for me to learn a lot. Perhaps I will learn more from you than you could possibly learn from me. I'd also like this to take this occasion to thank the organizers for putting on such a intricately and well-organized conference. A conference of this size, as you know, is not easy to arrange, but it seems to have been done magnificently. I'd like to give special thanks to Monica, sitting over there, who has been directly involved with making my arrangements, and I'm very grateful to her. So let me come to the lecture. It's really a tremendous honor for me to have the chance to give the Amartya Sen Lecture today. Not only because, as you know, Amartya is a great scholar, one of the great economists of our time, but also because he happens to be a good personal friend and colleague. In fact, he and I, next Monday, will start teaching a course together at Harvard. So I feel a real connection, a special connection